When it comes to making a responsible energy decision for your family and the planet, choose clean natural gas from Atmos Energy. Natural gas is safer and more reliable than other energy solutions and can reduce your home's carbon emissions by up to 45%. By using less total energy than other energy sources, natural gas lowers your impact on the environment. It's just another way that Atmos Energy makes your life better. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Hi, I'm Roger Cador. I'm here to tell you about Smith, Shanklin, and Sosa. You won't find them on billboards, but you'll find them in the courtroom where real lawyers are. You see, billboards do not solve cases. Real trial lawyers do. So if you're hurt and need a lawyer, call 225-223-6333.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach at the Shoppers Values Foods on Main Street in Baker. Coach, since the last time we were with our audience at home, LSU closing out the season, disappointing note, losing out to Notre Dame in the Citrus Bowl. But all in all, not a completely bad season.
Not really. You know, I think when you look at the way they played a lot of young people and they had some injuries, and I thought that they did a really good job with the personnel, particularly at quarterback. Etchen wasn't the most talented kid, but he gave him some quality time. You could see, though, when he had to make plays in the crunch, he just couldn't do it.
Some have said that this season showed the fact that LSU is now a good program, but not a great program. Agree or disagree?
I agree. They are a good program in terms of winning. When it comes to talent, they're a really great program with talent. But you have to find a way to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together to be a really good program.
New offensive coordinator Matt Canada lasted just one season and shown the door, parting ways mutually. Was that enough time for him to truly show his worth, or has the college game become such that one and done if we don't like what we see right off the bat? Well,
somebody didn't like what they see. They saw. When I think about it, you know, they didn't vet the guy good enough. Guy hadn't been more than 2 years in a lot of places, and you should have done your homework better. You probably would have found out he wasn't a good fit for the love of Tiger fans.
Yeah, and speaking of the Tiger fans, this program failed to crack the top 10 at any point in the season. That's not good enough for LSU, is it?
Well, it's not good enough, but it's probably as good as they're going to be right now. Till they really get a good quarterback that can do two things. One, that can pass some and is mobile enough to create something with his feet. I think then they're going to have that kind of problem because the SEC is just too tough to just be able to do one thing half good. You got to be, if you're only going to do one thing, you better do it really good.
When you look at all the things that we lack here in Louisiana, quite honestly, it makes you wonder sometimes if our priorities are misplaced. I mean, we're last in education, last in a lot of things, but doggone it, if we beat Alabama, then life is good. Do you get the feeling our priorities sometimes are misplaced here, Coach?
Well, it's with some people. We can't put all those people in that boat. With some people, our priorities are a little misguided. When you make athletics so important that education takes a back seat. And I think it's sad. The healthcare industry takes a back seat. I think those are the two most important things. If you educate people, the health situation is going to improve. It goes hand in hand. So we've got to wake up and put things in priority.
Of course, now there is also the angle that athletics allows a lot of people to do things that otherwise they would not have been able to do, and it also generates money to kind of help out on the academic end as well.
I'm one of those people without athletic, I'm dead in the water. Athletic paved the way for me. I mean, there's no other way I was going to get out of my situation.
Right.
But I'm not foolish enough to know. I knew that I still had to work hard to make myself more rounded and a better person.
Amen. Amen. When we come back, we will move ahead to segment 2 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
The biggest scratch-off game of the season is here. It's Saints Game On from the Louisiana Lottery. Your chance to win up to $100,000. Scratch the back for an extra game. Enter the second chance drawing for the grand prize, a 2018 season ticket package. Play Saints Game On from the Louisiana Lottery for your chance to make this your winning season.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagine big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, one family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit Breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
You don't have to understand the physics of flying to fly easy. Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport.
Welcome back for segment 2 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show, sponsored in part by the absolutely wonderful folks at Shoppers Value Foods. You know, this time of year, when so many of us have spent much money for holiday shopping and the like, our money becomes more important to us than ever. And of course, here in South Louisiana, we all love a good value. And that's where Shoppers Value Foods rises to the rescue. Any and everything that you want served to you with customer service that is absolutely second to none, and there's never a location far away from you. Proud sponsors of the Roger Cador Show, a very special thank you to the awesome folks over at Shoppers Value Foods. Coach, let's shift gears now. Tonight, national championship pitting 2 SEC teams against one another, Georgia taking on Alabama. Does this put to rest any doubt as to whether or not the SEC is still the dominant conference in college football?
Well, you know, particularly this year too, but for the last 10, 12 years or so, the SEC has been one in the top. And when you look at, let's be realistic, where are the greatest athletes coming from? Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, South Carolina. Those are the teams that are in the SEC.
Yep.
And that's why they are the best football league there is.
Now, I don't know, maybe it's just me wearing my Louisiana on my shoulders, but when I watch games and listen to the national commentators, I seem to sense a bit of a bias toward the West Coast and the East Coast. Am I imagining things, or do you kind of notice that on occasion as well?
Well, yeah, but what happened, you know, you remember when the West Coast in the 40s and 50s, the East Coast, or
Right.
30, 20, 30, 40, 50, the East Coast was where the power lies.
Right.
Then it shifted to the West Coast.
Right.
And
Now
then,
it's down south.
No, it's down south. It's right where it should be. And the teams that were enjoying a greater success found African American kids that they could sprinkle on their staff, on their
Right.
rosters, and it made them really good.
So what do you say to the folks, LSU fans, who are going to be pulling their hardest tonight against Alabama because of Nick Saban and because, quite frankly, we hadn't beaten the Crimson Tide in football? What do you say to those folks that are not going to pull for an SEC West Division team?
Good luck. I mean, I wouldn't be betting against Nick. I just think that he's one of the best coaches at preparing his teams for big games.
Right.
He's got that knack where he can get the kids to concentrate and focus on only the job at hand.
And is there anybody any harder to beat in the game for a guy that's had a bad taste in his mouth for a whole year after what transpired in the national championship a year ago?
Oh, he's got a lot of bad taste. And, you know, he probably didn't speak to his wife for 6 months out of the year. I'm only joking. No, I'm only joking. But no, he is really focused to try and win this championship because he's now part of wanting to be a part of history.
Yep.
The greatest college coach to ever live.
Yep.
Step aside, Bear Bryant.
You talk about guys like that that are goal-oriented and title-driven. If he wins this one, how much longer do you see Nick Saban staying
He
in
ain't
Alabama?
going nowhere. He'll stay there because he could win a few more. I mean, he's capable of winning a few more because he's getting 4- and 5-star players.
Yeah.
And why would he go somewhere else?
Yeah, where else would
because
there be
he
to
wants that competitiveness that coaching gives him. He needs that rush that he gets from coaching. And he's quite young. He probably can go 5 years.
Oh, Lord, that's not what LSU fans wanted to hear.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
When we come back, segment 3 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. All right, quit digging the holes. It's getting deeper, Coach. We'll be back right after this.
8 years.
You don't have to understand the physics of flying to fly easy. Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
The biggest scratch-off game of the season is here. It's Saints Game On from the Louisiana Lottery. Your chance to win up to $100,000. Scratch the back for an extra game. Enter the second chance drawing for the grand prize, a 2018 season ticket package. Play Saints Game On from the Louisiana Lottery for your chance to make this your winning season.
Welcome back for segment 3 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show, brought to you in part by Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center. You know, just coming off the holidays, it is, of course, flu season, and that means there's all sorts of opportunities out there for you and yours to be under the weather. But it's really great to know that Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center has a group of dedicated individuals whose sole mission in life is to keep us as healthy as possible. There's absolutely nothing as precious as the gift of good health. And fortunately, we get the best when we need it. From Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center, proud sponsors of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, we shift gears now. Saints went down to the wire to beat the Carolina Panthers yesterday, moving on to round 2 of the playoffs. How tough is it to beat a division opponent 3 times in one season?
Well, I think you saw how difficult it was.
Yeah.
You know, I really felt that Cam Newton had an opportunity to drive and beat the Saints.
Yeah.
The Saints was holding on for their dear life in the last few minutes of the game or seconds. So, but they won. That's important. We're happy. Now, the great thing about beating the the Panthers, they get to play another dome team in the cold weather.
Yes.
Rather going playing in the frigid condition in Philly.
Yeah.
So playing in that dome will help them, and I think the Saints can beat Minnesota.
The Panthers were able to shut down the run but Drew Brees looked like the Drew of days gone by. Is this guy just an ageless wonder or what, Coach?
To be able to complete 70% of your passes, he's so smart. He can read his steps. He knows how many seconds he's got to release the pitch, the ball. And he's able to hit the guys, throw the ball where they can catch it. He's got a real catchable pass. And he throws it in a position that they make catches for him.
I got to admit, the call that Sean Payton made to go for it on 4th and 2 at midfield late in the fourth quarter, it kind of left me scratching my head. What does your gut tell you? What percentage of calls do coaches make that after thinking about it might have gone a different way?
Well, if you're afraid of what people are going to think, you're not going to do it. He didn't care. He did it, and I didn't see that play because I went in the kitchen.
Right.
But he threw an interception. Am I correct?
Correct.
So the gamble was let's throw it downfield. If they intercepted it like a punt.
Right.
So it didn't hurt that much. So, but the critics want to criticize him. I like it, that the fact that he's sending a message to the next team.
Right.
We'll go for it if you don't. You better be prepared. So the run will be there for him rather than the pass the next time.
All right, so in your coaching days, looking back now, how many times did you pull a guy, did you put in a substitute runner, and you ended up saying, my God, what was I thinking when I did that?
Well, I've done it. If you coach as long as I did, you made a few boo-boos.
Right.
No one is perfect, so I
Right.
did it. But it's water under the bridge in a lot of cases. But your players, you do things for your players. The players want to believe, the coach believe in them.
Yeah.
That's really what it amounts to.
He certainly sent a message in that regard. Up next, as you mentioned, Minnesota. Can they pull this thing off, the upset, the way Minnesota's playing right now, Coach?
Yeah, I really think so. Minnesota quarterback hadn't had that playoff experience.
Right.
They've done good in the regular season.
Right.
But the playoff is a different animal.
Uh-huh.
You know, so I think they've got a chance if they can contain their running game and force them to be a passing team.
Right.
I think they've got a better chance.
All right, well, remember where you heard it first. Stay with us. We'll be back with more of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
You heard it here. Hi, I'm Roger Cador. I'm here to tell you about Smith, Shanklin, and Sosa. You won't find them on billboards, but you'll find them in the courtroom where real lawyers are. You see, billboards do not solve cases. Real trial lawyers do. So if you're hurt and need a lawyer, call 225-223-6333.
Pod's moving in storage.
I need to clean out my study.
We'll deliver a container.
My brother-in-law's moving in.
Maybe he'll help you pack.
He's lazy.
We can refer some professionals.
It's just until he finds work.
We can keep things at our storage center for as long as it takes.
I am not happy about this.
Or you can keep your things on site for quick unloading.
Did you say freeloading?
I said unloading.
I heard freeloading.
I'm sure you did.
Store on site or let us drive your things to our secure storage center. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Welcome back for segment 4 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. It is, of course, right after the new year, the time, Coach, where folks make plans for the upcoming year, expectations, and the whole nine. Our special correspondent, Aaron Fulbright, had the opportunity to sit down with Athletic Director Roman Banks at Southern and find out his plans for 2018. Aaron, take it away.
Roman Banks has been AD since June, so 6 months he's been in the role and he's hit the ground running. He's dealt with football season. They've gotten a grant for the athletic academic department, as well as basketball season starting up. So they have a lot going on for the new year. So I sat down to talk with him to see what he has expected for 2018 and how he has taken in this role.
Southern University Athletic Director Roman Banks has been in his official role for 6 months, and prior to the spring of 2017, he had the dual role of being SU men's basketball head coach and interim AD.
As an interim, you just keep things in the road, but becoming the full-time director of athletics here at Southern, it was time to shape the new era. And so, we've been determined to generate higher ticket sales for all our sports. We have the NCAA piece that we're dealing with. We're trying to be more attractive for our students as it relates to academic side. And so now it's about putting a brand on the athletic department.
Banks says the decision to leave basketball behind was a tough one, but he feels that being the AD was something he needed to do for the university. Not having to worry about practices and games, Banks now is focused on the marketing of the athletic department and telling SU's athletic story.
Our story haven't been told the right way. And I think branding ourselves or putting our schedules out, putting some faces out front that has positive attention for us. So bringing some of our older athletes back, some of our more familiar faces. And not only just the single athletes, but the teams we're going to be bringing back. And so between, the two main sports of football and basketball, we're going to start trying to recognize those championship teams and people who have went on to be successful for Southern University.
You may have seen the billboards and have heard the commercials on the radio for SU football and basketball games. Well, this is something Banks says he will continue. His game plan is about communication and transparency with the SU fans.
I think that you just seen just a glimpse of what we want the future to look like. I want to be able to communicate with our season ticket holders, with our fans. I have been interactive with sending out correspondence to them, and I just want to get an understanding of what they like to see, and for them also to understand my vision.
Outside of the marketing efforts, Banks and his staff have been working on grants, and this year a focus will be on a new academic center for the athletes.
This new academic facility we have is going to be a state-of-the-art facility. So we was able to land a grant, a $900,000 grant over 3 years from the NCAA that we applied for. And so that's going to give us the facility that we need in that area. I don't know if there will be many to be able to match what we have at our level. And so with the shape and size and the structure, so it's going to give our student athletes something they can feel good about, that they're proud about, and often give people a chance to invest in that building as well, because they see that that we are branding ourselves academically for our students, and people trend to want to help in that area. I think that, to be honest with you, Mr. Clayton just gave us a healthy donation to match that $300,000 that we was getting over those period of time. So you start to see corporate sponsorship shape around that. And I think that compared to our turf, compared to the new locker rooms, this is a state-of-the-art building that we'll be able to talk to our parents and our student athletes and our recruits about, we going to another level.
One of the things that I like that Roman Banks said was transparency is key, as well as marketing and branding this university and the athletic department and getting people out there to know things. So fans, you won't be able to say you didn't know about something because it's all out there. They're marketing and it's on their website. So make sure you check them out and show up and support your Jag.
As always, great job, Aaron, and of course, nothing but the best for the Jaguars in 2018. When we come back, we will wrap up this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Pods moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
It was nearly a decade ago that Breck teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagined big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other. One family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit Breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg, we just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Beep, beep.
Welcome back for the final segment of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Jaguars pick up their first conference win of the season in basketball. How important is it that the fans get behind this team and the new coach and come out and support him, Coach?
You know, we've said it over and over. Please support Southern belong to you. It was a big win. They beat Grambling, too,
yeah.
So that should have made some people happy.
Yeah.
But it's really important that he gets some support because the players probably could play harder.
Yeah.
The fans are cheering for them.
You know, I'm old school. I remember the days in the old Matchbox where you were scared to leave the seat because when you came back, there's nowhere to sit. Are those days gone forever, Coach?
Probably in some areas they are gone, and people just got something else they're doing. And we've lost so many people.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the longtime loyalists are no longer around. And, of course, as you mentioned, after the devastating flood event of 2016, a lot of people still haven't been made whole, so the disposable income is going back toward making their homes comfortable for themselves and their families. So that's going to do it for another week. On behalf of the coach and the crew, I'm Clarence Buggs. We'll see you next week with another edition of the Roger Cador Show. Till then, go Jags.